Homo Politicus, again, you're live on Enterprise Television. Welcome to the broadcast. Kingsley Bass is my name. Now, let's turn attention to core politics in Nigeria, as there was a heated session at the House of Representatives where lawmakers shut down a bill seeking to make rotational presidency a constitutional requirement. Now, the bill, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, seeks to ensure that the presidency and vice presidency rotate among Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. But opinions were sharply divided. Some say it would promote fairness and inclusion, while others say it could harm national unity and then elevate politics over merit. Now, should the principle of rotational presidency be enshrined in the Nigerian constitution or left to political parties? Let's talk about that now. I'm joined at this time by political commentator Alesta Wilcox. He joins me virtually. Alesta, many thanks for joining me today on Homo Politicus.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Appreciate that. Well, straight down to the conversation. My very first question would be the one posed just before you spoke. And that's the fact, that's a big question. Should the principle of rotational presidency be enshrined in the Nigerian constitution, or should we simply leave this to political parties? By the way, political parties don't break things down to geopolitical zones. They simply say north or south. And then, anybody from those regions eventually emerge and they play politics with that. We know that. I mean, it's politics. So that's why they're called political parties. But should we leave that to them or press on lawmakers in the country to ensure that this is enshrined in the Constitution?
Well, the framers of our Constitution, both 1979 Constitution and 1999 Constitution, sees a larger picture of a country that should not be divided along ethnic or geopolitical lines. Hence, they were not part of what was considered in the 1999 Constitution, or even that of 1979, which are the two major ground norms that we have used that has affected most of us that were not there in the independence time. You see, unfortunately, in this country, we play a lot with what is not relevant, rather than looking at what is relevant to our day-to-day sustainability. And so instead of looking for what is relevant, because maybe a lot of people are bereft of ideas of nation building, we just keep dancing around what has never been a help to our country. Nigeria is a federation. We have a president, we have 36 state governors, we have 774 local governments. Therefore, governance structure has been broken down to its minutiae the moment we have a local government administration. But unfortunately, I don't know why the presidency is too attractive, that it must be the only focal point of our national development. Yes, maybe because there's a lot of power concentrated at the center. But again, when you look at it, anybody that wants to make a mark in whatever form in its environment does not need to be a president to make that mark. If you're a state governor and you want to make a mark in your state, you can make a subsidiary, except there is something else that is unwritten. That is why we must share the presidency among geographical lines. I think for me, every political party is out to win an election. It takes every political party to know who to field and how to win the election. But when you restrict political parties to geopolitical zone, they must pick their parties there. Then you have not. There's no fairness. You have brought in mediocrity in place of what is democracy. Nobody in America determines a president candidate must come from a certain region. We copy it from there now.
Yeah.
And so why do we have every day creating more division in our system, our country, that and looking at what can make us to come out of this quagmire and that drum of despondency that we are facing?
Lester, you agree with me that we run a different, culturally, we run a different system from the United States, where we copied, this democracy, and we, as much as possible, are trying to follow that. In fact, recently, in line with the America First policy direction of Donald Trump, the Tinubu administration to have since adopted Nigeria first. Well, I hope that was with good intentions. But back to the focus of my question. Well, we copy, yes, but it's a completely different ball game culturally, because we operate in a very different system. We have several ethnic groups, contesting for relevance, and so when you don't have, someone from this region somewhere occupying a relevant position, there is a clamor from there, whether they are small, whether they are not. So again, I'll just pose this question straightforward. Does zoning promote national unity and fairness? Or do you think that zoning really risks sacrificing competence for regional balance? And this is what we've seen over time.
Zoning does not promote national integration at all. It has never. Because their wants and their desire are insatiable. Look, it's like I said, for me, it's sad that we chase the irrelevancies and continue to undermine what is relevant for that what will bring us up to Committee of Nation Progress and Advanced. As for me, that is just it. Look, the Constitution has made clear that every state must produce a plan. Is that not being done now? Every state has a minister. The Constitution, the system has provided for a National Character Commission that will ensure that the entire administration structure of the country, of all states and geopolitical roles. We have done that. The Constitution provides for states to be autonomous on their own, local government. So what else is it that you must be a president for you to feel that your people are represented? I don't get it. Stupidity of the madness of the whole thing. And people are just promoting mediocrity. There has been this unwritten rule that if you have a Christian, we brought the level of religion, level of community, all kinds of things. If you come to the state, the same thing. You want to talk about senatorial districts. You have more than 3 ethnic groups. Oh, it used to justify why you should be either a governor or something, or even a minister from that state. Look at, okay, this geopolitical zone. No, this senatorial zone produces the deputy governor. Therefore, the other zone should produce a minister. The other zone should produce secretary. We have come to a level where we are no longer thinking of development. We are thinking of selfish interest. That is sad. And these things have not helped us over time. Chief Obasanjo was on for 8 years. How did the Ogun State fared? One of the greatest assets, the greatest road, some of the most deplorable states. I'm not even talking about. Let's just talk about the infrastructure that will benefit the people. Ota, just road he can travel up. I don't even know how people travel that road. Shagam, what do you call it? Shagam, Ikorodu, what do you call this other place? Ijebod. We are during Obasanjo time, we are in the worst terrible situations. But of course, his friends benefited. His associates benefited. His accomplices benefited. But how did the people benefit? It was Goodluck Jonathan president for 6.5 years. The road in Bayelsa, in fact, the water project in Bayelsa was completed by Obasanjo, by Buhari. How the Bayelsa fared in the 6 years? I'm not talking of South, I'm talking of Bayelsa, where it comes from. Apart from starting university in Otuoke, his hometown, how the Bayelsa fared?
The flip side to this conversation,
these things have not helped us.
Yeah, I get your point, right? But the flip side to this, I'm sorry, the flip side to this would be that if this was done, you've referenced Goodluck Jonathan, went back to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo as well. If they really invested, more like, say, focused a lot on their communities, their home communities, their home states. I mean, we would be having another conversation here about the fact that they did that and neglected other parts of the country, right? So I suppose
No,
I suppose it's
no,
fair enough
no,
that they
no.
spread development across the country.
Look, no. You see, let me say this. What I'm saying that, are we okay? Basic thing that we can say is a sustainable legacy of men I've talked about. I'm not talking about others. This sustainable people are saying that Jonathan built Jonathan built a Marjorie school. How many? Brilliant, excellent.
Okay.
Now, but when you talk about infrastructure, that is the major thing. When you talk about other indices of human endeavor, that is the major thing. That's why I use those examples. At least if you're a president begins at home, nobody would begrudge you if, as at the time you are president, Obiakuta Road was made dual carriage and it is functioning and serving well. It's not only for you. It's at least the entire people that applies that road will have benefits. If the East West was completed during the time of Jonathan as a South president, the entire Southeast, if individuals, persons who are close to him, who are his friends, his family, his associates, even those from other states, they all benefited individually, but society does not have any reasonable benefit to accrue as to why one. So are you just there because it's a figurehead? Okay, my brother is there. It's just like saying my brother is cooking a very sweet aroma of stew, and because it's a brother's stew, you went and buy bread and be using the aroma to eat the bread, and you're satisfied. The stew you didn't taste it. You only feel the aroma, and you're satisfied. So it doesn't help the larger society, whoever is president. When Buhari became president, a Katsina state that had no terrorism become a hotbed of terrorism. The Northwest that had no insurgency and no issue. It was the Northeast. The entire Northwest became overrun by terrorists.
Well,
at the note of Buhari as president.
Well,
so what did his presidency benefit the people of? So let me know what his presidency in terms of personal benefit to the people of Northwest. Tell me one.
Well, some will say that the Buhari Northwest banditry thing, was targeted to discredit the president. I recall that during his administration, some supporters of Buhari, some Buhari supporters had mentioned that, a few times. Well, that aside, let's, talk some
I'm a staunch Buhari supporter. I'm a staunch Buhari, unrepentant Buharist. I'm a staunch Buhari supporter. Staunch one, not unrepentant.
Well, Alesta, a bit of a network problem there. Well, we'll just leave things there, and we're pressed for time anyway. We've just got to leave things there. We've been talking about the move to amend the constitution to allow for rotational presidency. That's to say, the president and the vice presidents be rotated, be moved around the 6 geopolitical zone from north central to north. Okay, we're in the southwest now. Okay, from southwest to south, I suppose, or from southwest to northwest, and then from northwest to southeast, and then from there to north central and back to south, and then to the north central too, something like that. But you know what I mean, 6 geopolitical zone. But that has been stepped down by the lawmakers, that's members of the House of Representatives. Will this be reintroduced somehow? Well, time will tell. I'd like to get your thoughts, Nigerians. Stop by the comment section and let me know if you really do want your representatives to pass such a bill. They've stepped that down now, and what you have to say about that. But while you comment, there are fundamental questions you must respond to. You've heard from my guest, Alesta Wilcox, but he's raised some vital points too. Again, fundamental questions you should be responding to that should be flying through your mind, or some things you should consider. One would be, could constitutional rotation, the one being clamored for, could that help reduce political tensions and feelings of marginalization in certain zones, right? And then what are the long-term implications of rejecting or adopting rotational leadership for Nigeria's democratic development? I tell you again, fundamental questions we should critically consider while we continue to push for a national development and we continue to hope for democratic development in this adopted democracy. Well, that's that today on the program. Many thanks for being a part of the show. Again, stop by the comment section. Let me know what you think. And if you really do want your representatives at the National Assembly to ensure the passage of a bill that enforces rotational presidency, which means, as mentioned, from one region to another, if someone from the Southwest has governed, the next person has to be from another region completely. Well, where lies the place of competence, some may say too. Until next time, Homo Politicus, many thanks again for being a part of the show. Kingsley Bass is my name. We say, may God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria and indeed our troops. Bye for now.